start by saying how great it is to see representatives from so many occupations, because speaking for Cambridge, I mean, we're pretty sure that our 6-day occupation of the Cambridge Law Faculty has been the longest occupation in the history of Cambridge, but this could not have happened in a vacuum. We took direct inspiration in terms of not only the action we took, but the demands that we were posing. Direct inspiration from people that had taken action in the earlier occupations. Speaking of Cambridge history, you may or probably have not seen on the news that Cambridge recently celebrated its 800th anniversary, and a couple of weeks ago our Vice-Chancellor gave an interview to one of the student papers where the interviewer asked her, what do you think has been Cambridge's greatest achievement in the last 800 years? And she said, I think that Cambridge's greatest achievement has been changing the way that the world thinks and changing the way that the world works. And you think, maybe with that attitude, that she should have been in the occupation with us, because that's what we were giving them an opportunity to do on this. And we were giving them an opportunity to break the shameful silence of academic institutions in this country and to stand up on an issue which clearly captures the anger and the imagination of a lot of their students. Instead, their response to us was nothing but contempt. They denied us food, they put ID checks on the door, they cancelled lectures in the law faculty despite the fact that we'd explicitly said, and we put this out on our blog, and we put leaflets out to law students, come and have your lectures. If anyone cancels your lectures, that's a decision that's been made by a university authority and not us. We said very explicitly that we're here to add to people's university education and not take away from it, and I think that's a common theme throughout all of the occupations. Denying us food, of course, while we were negotiating, they were using a carrot and stick approach, but the stick was much bigger than the carrot. But of course, like, more significant than their contempt for us was their contempt for the people of Gaza. And I mean, we can't, in all honesty, claim that our occupation was a success, because they refused to budge on the vast majority of our demands. And when the day that I came out, and I was explaining to someone at lunch the extent to which the university had refused to negotiate with us, and I said one of our demands was that the university should fundraise for the relief of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, and I said this penny, I could put this penny in the Disasters Emergency Committee appeal, and that would be more than the entire University of Cambridge is willing to give to the people of Gaza in a year when their 800th anniversary fundraising drive has raised £800 million with a target of £1 billion, and this one penny is more than the university is prepared to give. In terms of getting our demands met, the campaign goes on outside the occupation. Obviously, we're still meeting. I think where we can point to a success, as other people have said, is the politicisation of campuses, the politicisation of student life. And we were constantly told in the negotiations by these high-ranking bureaucrats, the Vice-Chancellor, by the way, didn't bother to actually talk to us face-to-face. We were constantly told, you don't represent anyone but yourselves. You say there's 100 of you in here, but who else do you represent? And our response was, well, which of us have elected our Vice-Chancellors? Which of us have elected you to come and talk to us? And who do you think that you represent? Yeah. Which are more following the interest more of the arms companies and the oil companies that they invest in than their students or their academics. And it's important to note as well in Cambridge that yesterday more than 50 academics handed in a letter to the Vice-Chancellor complaining at the disgraceful way that the university has behaved. This is an issue which is uniting students and academics together. The university, you know, they have come down in a very draconian fashion on a lot of the occupations. It's happening in Birmingham, it's happening in Nottingham, it's happening in Manchester. Now, this is because they're afraid of us. Universities run by bureaucracies so isolated that they've actually become afraid of students who become political. And someone who wasn't directly involved in our occupation, but in any case was interested in what was going on in Cambridge, they set up an online poll which only Cambridge students could vote in. You needed a password to sign into it. And the poll was basically took each of our demands and said, do you agree or disagree? More people voted in this poll than voted in our last student union election. Some of our demands we were in the majority. Divestment from the arms trade, we had a huge majority. Some of them we weren't, but you know, who cares? We'll convince more people, and anyway, we know that we're right. But the key issue is that we've come to the heart of a crisis of democracy in our universities and our student unions. This has come up in things that other people have said. to link the universities that have links with the arms trade, that have links with these companies. When we fight against our universities and their corporate links, we're fighting against a global system, an unequal global system which perpetuates war again and again and again. When we demand that our universities extend a hand to help rebuild education systems in Gaza, we are standing in solidarity with the victims of this global system. We decided in Cambridge, democratically, that solidarity with the people of Gaza doesn't equal support for Hamas. We decided that condemnation of Israel doesn't mean condemnation of all Israelis. We had Israeli students with us. We extended our hand of friendship and solidarity to peace movements and trade unions in Israel and around the Middle East. What we've done is, I think, and what we've begun to do nationally, is successfully harness the anger of a generation. I think maybe comparisons to '68 are very premature at the moment. It is very much a beginning. But if we can plant in our campuses the seeds of a genuine internationalist activism, I think that's what we've begun to do here. That's what we're going to carry on doing. The campaign goes on in Cambridge. We're still meeting. We haven't given up on our demands, and we're going to carry it forward. And thanks very much for listening.